Hey, what's up, YouTube? How are you? Alex here, and I am 13 days post-op. I had a laparoscopic hysterectomy with a bilateral oophorectomy, and I felt really good. So, I wanted to make a video about my process with this and how it's differed from top surgery. So, my godmother called after surgery, and it was great talking to her, and she had asked if I felt that same relief that I felt after top surgery. I guess that was what was most evident with our discussion after top surgery, was how just this weight had been lifted, and I'm sure that that was conveyed through my speech. But this is not the same. I don't at all consider hysterectomy. I'm not relieved I had it. I think it was a good decision, but it's not the same. It's not even close to being the same. A friend of mine wrote on Facebook, "Oh, are you so excited, surgery, yay." And I was like, excited wouldn't be the word I would use. I would say I'm resigned. I think it's a wise decision to make, and I'm kind of painted in a corner. So I was having a hard time articulating what the difference was between the two, and then I thought about this concept that's really it's explored by one of my favorite authors, Orson Scott Card. So he wrote a book series called Alvin the Maker, where he dissects making with a capital M versus unmaking. So the reason why I say capital M is it's the conscious decision to create rather than the conscious decision to destroy. And we see this theme is sometimes overly simplified with good and evil, but sometimes it's left alone as making and unmaking. In the never-ending story, the unmaker is called the nothingness, but it's the same concept. I really loved that idea. And in this book series, the unmaker is represented a lot by water, because it's such an act of destruction. But so Alvin, he's the protagonist, and he's a maker, and essentially he's able to reconstitute the universe using natural elements in any way that he can conceive. And an example of this is he injured his leg, and so he was looking microscopically at his good leg and comparing it to the bad leg, and there were some circulation issues. And so he's able to go in and find out what the hell a vein was and see that the good leg was circulating blood, but the bad leg wasn't. So he went in and unclogged all the veins and arteries and reformulated that circulation, recreated that circulation pattern, and it prevented him from having to amputate his leg, right? So he used like natural elements to reform his world. And I didn't realize the significance of a maker until book 2, when it's 6 books in that series. But in book 2, it talks about like the last maker that was known was the one that turned water into wine. So again, like reconstituting the universe. And there's a lot of religious connotations with this story, but I really found it inspiring when I thought about my own personal life and how I'd love to be a maker. And you don't have to be a maker with your hands. You don't have to create something physical. There was one of his companions was a lawyer, and he was a maker with words. And that was really cool to see how he could create with legislation and communication and word. Like, it just blew my mind. And Alvin, his apprentice piece, he was a smith. He was training as a smith for like 7 years, and his apprentice piece, he made a plow, a hand plow that was made out of gold. But the making part of it is he went into the fire with the plow and taught the gold how to be alive, and just had to show this metal how to have life. And so he gave some of his life to this plow. And I mean, it was really cool. I mean, I'm probably not making it sound as cool as it is, but it was a really cool idea. And I feel like my top surgery was very much a making. It allowed for an entire life for me. Because I had top surgery, then I was able to start testosterone. And for me, I couldn't start testosterone without knowing exactly when I was going to have top surgery, because my boobs are so big that I couldn't wrap my head around being read as male with double Ds. So having surgery allowed for an entire life. My top surgery allows me to live authentically as male, and my physical image my residual self-image is what they call it in the Matrix, but was finally aligned with my physical image, and the relief that I experience daily on that. I mean, it's so profound. But my hysterectomy very much feels like an unmaking, because it's an end to a lot of things, and it's an end to things that needed to come to an end, and honestly, probably a little while ago, but I've been fighting it because I had such inherent discomfort with this act of destruction. And I tell you guys, I mean, it took a breath for me to sign that waiver stating I'm aware that this action will leave me sterile. Now, that was an intense moment. I'm 30 years old, and I have decided to be sterile, And it's because the long-term health benefits outweigh any sort of potential parenting aspirations I had biologically reproducing. But, I'm adopted, so I don't have any issues with not being able to biologically reproduce. I would prefer to adopt or have stepchildren or be a godparent or, I mean, I'm going to have kids in my life, but it doesn't necessarily have to be biologically. Obviously now it's not, but it would still, it's an end. It's a destruction, an end to my reproductive cycle. And I was having such intense pain. I've always had terrible cramps, but after I started testosterone, I would have uterine contractions after an orgasm. So it was really, really painful, and that pain meant that I always had a script for pain pills, and I was also on FMLA at work because sometimes I just couldn't work, and so I had to put an end to having pain pills. I had to put an end to this intense amount of pain. Like I said, some of these things needed to come to an end, but it's still an act of destruction. It's still inherently, I think it's going to cause some discomfort regardless of rationally understanding that this had to happen. So, yeah, it's not the same. It's not at all the same. It's an act of destruction versus creation in my experience. That being said, I am very glad I did it. I feel better already. I mean, the surgical discomfort that I have is nothing compared to the cramps that I was experiencing. And I'm glad I did it. I have no regrets. But it sits with me differently, So, anyway, just thought I'd make a video about it. And hopefully I kind of conveyed those thoughts articulately, because I have been struggling with this for a few attempts now. But yeah. Okay, guys, well, hope you're well. Talk to you later.